Watch the ride.
Hey everybody, I've just got a little subject that I want to talk about because it's something that's come up quite a lot. As I've made lots of videos about how to ride a motorcycle, you know, passing the CBT and stuff like that, I've had many people go through their CBTs and sort of keep me updated with the info. You know, I'll get comments on some of the videos that will say something like, oh, I'm doing my CBT in a few days, and I normally sort of say best of luck with it, let me know how it goes. And then, you know, a few days later I normally get a message again saying, oh, I've just passed, it's fantastic, blah blah, or a slightly different story or whatever. But one of the common things I keep finding is that people most often seem to not pass their CBT because they can't get to grips with using gears on a bike. And that's fine, you know, it takes a bit of getting used to. Not everyone was lucky like me that I'd already learned how to use a bike when I was like 12, 13. They're going to go before green, I know they are. Amber. Why every time do I have to be right? Yeah, as I was saying, it was, you know, it's easy for people like me who had the chance to learn to use gears in our own time when we were younger in fields and stuff. Because when it came to my CBT, you know, it wasn't anything new to me. I knew how to ride a bike. I didn't know how to ride a bike on the road necessarily, but I knew how to ride a bike, and that was a huge part of it, which is partly why I make the, you know, how to ride a motorcycle type videos, explain to people how it all works. There is a playlist on my channel called Videos for New Riders or something like that, or Tips for New Riders. Go through there, look at the titles, you'll find all sorts of stuff that will help you on different aspects, from, you know, CBT to learning to ride a bike to A1, A2, Mod 1, Mod 2, all of that sort of stuff. Anyway, the thing that keeps cropping up and I don't really like seeing, I've talked about my concerns with the way that people get rushed through their CBTs and aren't given the proper training they deserve. Thus, you know, these training schools are sending people out unprepared for the road, and I think if people then crash because of their inexperience, part of that liability falls on the school. Because some people go there, don't have a clue, and, you know, they're there for like 2 hours and they're let go with the CBT. There you go off and learn the rest of it on the road, mate. Yeah, that's what the CBT is about, is to learn more on the road, but you're supposed to be up to a proficient level before you let someone risk their own neck out there. But what I keep seeing coming up is people who say can't pass because of the gears, and the school says just do it on an automatic and then work it out later. In other words, we can't be asked to actually teach you. It's a school, they're supposed to be teaching people, but that doesn't, you know, it doesn't rack them through. They want to just get these CBTs through quick as possible, because, you know, if a person gets a pass, they're never going to complain. But they say, yeah, you know, go for an automatic, then get your geared bike and go out and learn it on the road. I mean, yes, okay, what you can do, because I've had a few people have said this sort of thing to me, and I'm like, well, if you're going to do it on the auto, fine, just do it on the auto, but when you get your geared bike, don't go out and ride. You need to go to a car park and learn how to ride that bike, because you know how to ride a scooter, which is easy. And riding a motorcycle is easy too, but scooters are a little bit easier because there is no gears, there is no clutch, it's twist and go, and if you explain to someone twist and go, they get it. I'd just like to know what other people think about this. Imagine your, I don't know, son or daughter went to do their CBT, you entrusted these people, you paid them to do their job to train your offspring to ride on the road. Admittedly, if you're a biker, you'll also help them, but except whether you're not, and you found out the school said, oh, well, just pass on an automatic and then jump onto a manual on the road and you work it out there. Would you be happy? I wouldn't be happy. If they said it to me, I wouldn't be happy. If they said to me, if I was unable to do, you know, to use gears on a bike, I wouldn't have said, oh, okay, give me an auto. I would have said, well, then teach me. Yeah, okay, you might need to get a lesson or two, which is going to cost you extra. But if you know you can't ride a bike, it might be worth doing that. It might save you some time at least. And it will definitely make you safer if you can actually control the thing. And the thing is, the more stories I hear like this, the more that the CBT is being proven to be insufficient, because it's the compulsory basic training. If they find that compulsory basic training is insufficient, well, then they might do away with it entirely, and you'll find that you can't do a CBT, you just have an A1 license to start with, which is going to cost you as much as the full license generally. I don't know if that works out exactly right, but that's what I've heard, that it costs around the same. It's certainly a lot more than the 80 to 120 quid you were paying for your CBT. Now, as I say, throughout all the videos that I've made trying to help people ride bikes, I've had literally hundreds of messages from people saying, thanks, this helped me get through my test, or thanks, that helped me get through my CBT, or at some point someone said, oh, you were the one who inspired me to get a bike and go and learn and stuff. And that's fantastic to know that there's probably a couple of hundred extra bikers out on the road now because I showed them how fun it could be, or me and others showed them how fun it could be. That's really awesome. But equally, I don't like the idea of these people, you know, oh yeah, I want to ride, go into one of these crap schools, getting fudged through it because they couldn't handle a geared bike, and then ending up getting hurt because they can't control the bike they're on once they actually get out on the road on their own. I mean, if you have an automatic car licence, you're not allowed to drive a manual, are you? If you learn an auto, you can only drive an auto. If you learn on a manual, you can drive a manual or an auto, because auto's easy and manual takes some getting used to. But with bikes, and the CBT particularly, they don't care. They're like, yeah, you can basically the equivalent of learning an automatic car and then going and getting in a manual. It's not going to work out very well, is it? If you don't know what you're doing. And with the way this world's going, it only takes one or two incidents of someone getting hurt because of, you know, they had insufficient training and the system is shown to be not good enough, basically. Then it may very well happen that they get rid of the CBT. And trust me, a lot more people are going to be unhappy at that point. And that will possibly also kill some of the new bikers coming in, because it will be so much more of an expensive step through the door. It's already costly enough as it is with insurance and a bike and all that stuff. So I also have a question, is it our responsibility as riders, if that we find out a school is bad and is putting people through that really shouldn't have done, should the people who are in charge of these schools, you know, in the sense of the government body that regulates them, should they find out about the fact that these schools are pushing people through willy-nilly? I don't think that's necessary, because when you've done 4 CBTs, for instance, and then you go and do your 5th, you really don't need the full 8 hours. You really could just be checked on every single manoeuvre once and then whacked through an hour or 2 on the road. Just go for a nice ride. And as long as they don't do anything stupid, you just pass them again. And I've got a feeling the government don't want people to keep taking CBT, so that may also be something that I fear could change in the future. Now, I talked about some supposed CBT changes a while ago in a video. They haven't come into fruition yet, but we knew that was going to be the case at the time. It was just talked about. It takes a long time for these things to come through, but I suspect some of those things will come through, like adding the theory to the CBT. As I say, it's just something that I've noticed a disproportionate amount of people who've said they hadn't passed the CBT, why they said there wasn't. It nearly always comes down to gears. That, or they just get crazy nerves and they end up in a ball of nerves, and they don't get that calm restart point I taught in my videos, and they just fudge it up because they're thinking they're going to fudge it up, which it happens, don't worry about it. So there you go, there's my thoughts. I'd love to know yours. How were things on your CBT? Did you have to take it on an auto and then go to a manual and find it was a real problem? Or if you didn't, how did you make that transition? That's what I'd love to know. Anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you next time. If you enjoyed this video and the other content on the channel, please consider following the links in the description to show your support.